Well, guys, that was Jupiter. So, I should say Teardrops of Jupiter. I hope everybody enjoyed this song. Welcome, everyone. You see, I have John Goodwin right there. He's been out dancing naked in the sunlight. I'm not sure what that was about, but them people out there in Los Angeles, man, you just gotta watch them all the time. They get a little weird out there. I've been getting these weird videos from different neighborhoods in LA. People, stop sending me them videos. I'm not interested. I'm just telling y'all ahead of time.
The last 2 weeks, last week I was in Provo, Utah, and the week before that, I was in Colorado Springs at 2 different writing conferences. It was awesome.
Yes, and it's it's nice. I mean, I actually like Utah as a state. Colorado, I go back and forth on Colorado for some reason. I mean, I like Colorado; it's a really pretty state. But
very pretty state. I'm not going to get beyond that. It was a very pretty state.
Yeah, it is. It is a very pretty state, and there's a lot of nice people. I mean, I know a lot of people. A couple of good friends of mine live in Denver, and enjoy it up there. Carmen, not Carmen, Kelly. No, I don't know what our guest is. They were supposed to be here with us actually 10 minutes ago, so I'm not sure what's happened to Tom. If we don't get him, I will have Carmen rebook him. Sometimes when we're doing 4 guests, sometimes it gets a little strange. It can get a little crazy in here. I see my alarm's going off too, by the way. It's but you can get a little it can get a little strange sometimes with the amount of guests we have coming up. What we're doing is we're getting all the winners out of the way before the contest, and then when we go down there, so we're getting all the winners out of the way and a couple of judges. That way, when I'm down there, it allows me to kind of pick and choose who I want to do more in detail. Because it's already out of the 8 I've interviewed, at least 2 of them I want to sit down and talk a really good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours with. Because they have some interesting stuff in their lives. And it's not to say all of them don't. It's just some of them are just a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more forward. And anybody who wants, I mean, and I'll tell this, just like I do every year when I first come in, I'll tell everybody the same thing. If you want to be interviewed, here's my phone number, here's my email, call me or write me. I'm here all week. Just catch up with me and I will set up. And a lot of times, so this ahead of time, if I'm just doing goofy stuff, I will stop what I'm doing and come and do an interview. So, I mean, that's what I'm there for, to do interviews. I want to get as many in as I can. And I really like the meaningful interviews. The first 2 years, we got some really good interviews. And last year was a little tougher, but this year already is starting out pretty good. So we ought to have some really good interviews. Even some of these little 30-minute ones have been pretty decent interviews. They've been a little more detailed than I thought they were. It's interesting, too, to listen to the winners talk about what they expect when they get to Writers of the Future. That's always fun. See, we got John here, so we can cheat because John knows everything the hell that's going on. But no, Carly. So I told y'all this last time. I know nothing. You remember Schultz from? I mean, I know some of y'all are too young for Schultz, but remember Schultz? I know nothing. Well, that's a joke. I know nothing. I know nothing. I just no. I mean,
Schultz, from Hogan's Heroes.
That's right. I have no idea what's going on. No, they don't tell me nothing until I get there, and that's the best way because I do radio. You never know. I might slip up, or I might have these guests on and say something I'm not supposed to. So for me, it's better. Also, no one knows where I'm going to be, so it's a little better because I got a lot of friends in LA. I'd rather than not know where I'm at while I'm down there, and so it works out. It works out really well all the way around. I don't know, Gene. I mean, oh wait, just use here. Let me just click on the link and follow the link, Tom.
Oh, good. You got Tom now. Okay, good.
He was in the chat room with us. So all you got to do is click on the link and just follow the link and we'll bring you in. If you can hear me, if not, I'll write it in text in a minute. But just click on that link that allows you to come in. Well, we'll just push everybody back a little bit today. We have extra time. Yeah. Who? John? No. John's got I think it was 14 wives or something. Why do you think he keeps going to Utah? It might be 16 wives. I don't know. Last count, it was 16 wives, 105
I'm going to make
kids.
Emily listen to this part of this episode, and she's going to seriously whack you when you come out here in April.
No, really, 16 wives, 105 children, 215 grandchildren. We done lost count of the great-grandchildren. There's so many of them. I mean, he can start his own cult, man. I'm just telling y'all ahead of time. No, I'm just teasing. It's sorry, guys. My alarms have been off all day, and my house has been everybody. I got the studio doors open, and there is Tom. Sorry about that. I guess I'm gonna have to shut my studio door, and because it is soundproof, so I guess I'm not gonna have a choice. Hold on, we can't do this the whole show.
So while Joe's gone, let me tell you what the real true story here is on this thing here. Joe has been
Don't try to get out of it.
he got out of the spaceship last night. That's his mom that you see right behind you. There,
that's right.
There.
No, that's Bob back there. That's stepdaddy Bob back there. No, we ever guess what we're going to bring him up in just a minute. No, actually, John and I are the best behaved people at the conference by far. I can't speak for all them other crazies there, but we are by far the best looking too, by the way. Best dressed, best looking, best behaved. That's right. I can only go by what I've seen. That's all I can tell y'all. Now, I'm not going to make anybody mad. Everybody already knows I'm a pain in the ass. It's not like that. No. Anyway. Oh, shit. Hey, Tom, welcome to the show, man. Sorry.
Hey.
Hello, Tom.
Hello. How y'all doing? It's great to be here.
Good. I look forward to meeting you in a short few weeks.
Yes, getting closer.
Yeah.
So, awesome. so right off the bat, well, introduce yourself properly since I can't stop laughing long enough to say your name.
My name has that effect on people.
Well, that's John has that effect. See, I can't say his name without laughing at that. I don't know what it is. So it's
Tom Vandermolen.
I said, well, we had it right. John and I were saying it earlier. I always want to make sure because I can get some names really good, but boy, sometimes I can mispronounce names, and you're like, what is he from? Like Mars? Where the hell did he get this name from?
Well, we know Mars, but anyway.
No, Chris, I'm getting ready to ask him, calm down, people. So Arthur Illustrator, I've already know, but I'm going to ask for the crowd who's listening tonight.
I am an author. My short story Non-Zero won second place in the fourth quarter of this year.
So we cruising. So now you can give us, I mean, when I say a tidbit, man, I mean literally, because John's going to send me this in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to read it on the airplane. But we want the rest of these people listening to buy the damn thing. So just a tidbit. I mean, just enough to tantalize, but no more than that. Because I know how you authors are. Y'all can get the whole book away. I don't stay on y'all.
Well, mine's really short. Non-Zero is only like 2,800 words or so.
Damn,
like
that is short.
Maybe. Yeah, probably the shortest thing I've ever written. But basically, I heard you're an ex-Navy man.
Yep.
Yeah, same here.
Yes.
So, it's about a man overboard scenario, but the person who's man overboard has a limited supply of air left to her, and the nearest help is light years away.
This is going to be interesting. Well, see, I like that right off the bat. See, that's stuff I can get into right off. You're going to see some people in the chat over here texting, and then we got people in Messenger texting. So sometimes you'll just hear me referring to people. But so no, yeah, I'm ex-Navy. I actually enjoyed my time in there. I wasn't in as long as you were, but I enjoyed my time, and I was in 6, and I got a great education from them. I enjoyed, being on the carrier. The only thing I didn't like is I was a plane captain, and then they found out I was there with advanced avionics and advanced electronic degrees and a class 10 security clearance. They were like, well, what are you doing on the flight deck? I said, well, I'm a plane captain. I said, I'm in charge of this whole part of the deck. Stay off my deck. And they're like, no. We got lots of plane captains. We need you and other. I was so pissed because after that, I was either in the conning tower, in the reactor room, or in some place with electronics.
That was on the Nimitz?
Yeah, I was on the Nimitz with my head stuck in an airplane somewhere. And a matter of fact, I probably gave away some top secret stuff last night when I told everybody that our jets are plug and play. And they're like, I don't understand. I said, well, you really can't change a resistor or something when you're in the field like that. I said, you could, but it's going to take a long time to do it right. Then you have to do all kind of tests. I said, we just take the board out in the ocean, put a new board in, just go out of. I said, you ain't even got to know anything. You just got to know what board it is. And they were like, I don't know if you should have told everybody. And I'm like, well, I'm sure the Russian and Chinese have figured it out by now. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time in service. Matter of fact, when we're going to probably, I was talking because of some of the other stuff Carmen was telling you were involved in service. We'll probably invite you on news on the flip side. And there's actually another Navy guy and a tank drive, an Army guy there as well with a PhD. So it ought to be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, cool.
But that shows a little bit different. So right off the bat, when did you think you could write? I mean, when did you feel you had the gift to write?
Oh, I probably was writing in elementary school. I do remember when I was like a young kid, you get the first assignments, write a story about Halloween or something like that. And I didn't know how to write a story. So I was crying and complaining to my mom, and she told my older brother, say, well, do something for him. So she puts together this story that was actually, even now, I think it's a really good story. It's a nice little Halloween story. And that was the first time I realized that you could do that you could just create a story like that. So that was kind of a big light bulb clicking in my head at that moment. And then I was like, well, if he can do it, then I can do it. And that means anyone could do it. And I just started writing stories from then on.
So I mean, is it so? Let me ask you this. So, when you start writing stories, I know some of it's a release, some of it's an escape. I understand that with a lot of writers that I've talked to, that they can release. But so I know you're young, but in your head, was it saying, "Oh man, can I monetize this in the future? Am I going to be rich?" Because some of these authors tell me, "Oh, I knew I was going to be a billionaire." I'm like, really? And, that's pretty good. How are you going to do this now? I mean, I want to be a billionaire too. So, but I'm just asking because I know it's different for everybody. When I talk to everybody, it's way different for everybody.
Yeah, I didn't even really think about that until I knew who Stephen King was, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that dude makes a lot of money."
He makes a lot of money. Yes.
And then I realized I wasn't Stephen King. That kind of dropped away. Yeah, so, not till probably high school, I actually thought about money coming out of it, and probably thought a little too much about that.
Well, I mean, you got to go somewhere. I mean, high school is high school. Where you going in life, And a friend of mine says, "Well, I don't understand why you joined the Navy." I said, "Because I wanted the free education is why I joined the Navy." And he's like, "What do you mean free?" I said, "Man, they sent me to great schools." It's hard to explain to people when you're in tech schools in the Navy that you have to ace every test. They don't understand. They're like, "What do you mean?" I said, "If you miss one question, you failed the test." No. I said, "No, you miss a question, you fail." I said, "If you do that 3 times, they kick you out that program, whatever it happens to be." And they're like, "You're kidding." I said, "No, they expect you to know everything 100%. I said, "You're on any ship that you're going to be on. It could be anything from a tender to a sub to a carrier to anything. I mean, anything that they have, you have to know this stuff, people." And I said, "They expect you to know your job inside and out, whatever the hell it is."
Yeah, can you imagine? I got 85%. I'm pretty good here. And just like you're in battle, like, well, I got 85%,
Yeah.
What was that supposed to turn on the
That's probably the guy, the one who microwaved half his body. He's probably one that was an 85%er. It's I mean, there's just so much dangerous stuff. And when you're in the service, there's just so much that's dangerous. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I had fun, I enjoyed it, but Nimitz was just dangerous. There was shit everywhere. Ordnance going off, things falling off, planes running into the conning towers, things missing, lines going off the end of the deck, shit blowing up. I mean, it was one of those. And like my whole entire crew when I was a plane captain, I mean, we all had been working together for a while, so you could just look and see. Everybody had their position, so when their finger went, we knew, and it just went by count around. And then I would, put my hand out this way, and then one up this way, and one out this way, because I had to let the catapult guy go. We're getting ready to release, and one of the pilots know we're getting ready to release. And all the pilot does, he don't look at anybody but me. That's all they're staring at me the entire time. And as soon as they see that hand drop and this hand go back, he releases it, and it's just off the jet you go, man. Off the jet you go. The first time I launched the jet.
When you were in the Navy.
Well, I was only in. He was in a long time, weren't you?
I know. What did you do, Tom?
I was in 22 years. Started out as a nuclear propulsion officer for a submarine. So went through.
Job and a half.
Yeah, you talk about the tech training. Went through like a year and a half of training for that, and then got medically disqualified once I got to my submarine, which is probably a good deal for everybody involved, to be honest. And then transitioned over to intelligence from there. So I was an intelligence officer for the most of my career.
Man.
A couple of tours on a carrier. My dad actually was a aviation machinist mate, so he spent a lot of time on the flight deck too.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time on deck for sure. There's always something breaking, blowing up, or falling off. It's just, you would think, we spend billions of dollars on these planes. You would think that nothing would break on them. Shit, I'm telling y'all, people, stuff breaking these things all the time. I watched one. He's coming in, beautiful jet. It was F-18 actually, coming in for a landing. Popped the strap going across the deck. Couldn't stop. Couldn't get enough speed to get back up. So, whoop, the 18 went right off the edge of the carrier. He went up in the air, and the carrier, we just mowed. And they don't like mowing them over. They try to do a hard stop and then hard right rudder because they want to just push the plane out of the way. And we'll send another plane to either retrieve it or sink it because you don't really want that stuff going through your props. In this case, they didn't have enough time. You heard it. We were standing in the back watching big chunks of jet coming out the water as we went by. Didn't even phase the damn carrier. He carried just cruising along at 60 knots. Didn't even pay attention. That was probably classic.
Actually, pilot friend of mine. He's an F-18 guy too. He trapped. That's what they call it when your arresting hook actually catches the wires on the carrier. It pulled the back of his jet off. So he and the front of his jet went skidding across the deck, and he was able to eject. And actually, I think he landed on the carrier deck. So
yeah, that you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many when they eject going off the end actually end up on the deck of the carrier. It's kind of strange. I've seen 3 people hit the deck. Well, people, you don't think you understand. These jets are under a lot of force. They take harsh beatings, not just when they're landing and taking off, just being strapped down to the carrier because they're being bounced around all the time. And sometimes, when they land, shit goes awry. Not so much when they take off, but mostly when they land. Every now and then you'll get like a missed catapult fire where the steam wasn't up to full, or one of the thrusters on one of the jets will, just puff out and then it just goes down. There's nothing else you can do. No, there's nothing else. Once it goes boop, you're pretty much dead. Or if you make it in the air, you're good. If you don't make it in the air, not so good. Well, if you're in the carrier, if you're on the front of the carrier when it goes by, you're dead, people. There's nothing else you can do. You're pretty much just chop suey, and that's about all it is. So you enjoyed it. I mean, you had fun. Now, I know some people who, actually I know quite a few people who were intelligence in the Navy. I got quite a few friends that went there. And a good captain friend of mine used to always try to talk me into it. I'm like, nope. I said, dude, I got 6 years. I get my education, then I go get my bachelor's, and I'm out of here. He's like, oh, come on, you'll love it. I'm like, no, I'll get in trouble for sure. I'll end up in some Navy brig somewhere for sure.
That was actually my plan too. I was going to do one tour, get out, go off and be a civilian, enjoy my life. But I ended up just every time I hit something really interesting, hit a better job, hit something cool, met a lot of great people. And
there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the Nimitz. We had 4 intelligence officers on board for different reasons. I mean, they all had different assignments. Some of it was just to basically keep an eye on what's going on that damn carrier and making sure there's no fishy business. And some of them were actually doing intelligence that was being brought to the carrier, on board the carrier. I was amazed actually how much reconnaissance was actually brought into the carrier on a regular basis. And I would not have known that on a flight deck, but being in a conning tower, I was constantly seeing it coming in. Sometimes it was transmitted, sometimes it was brought in by packets. There was a lot of ways they brought it in. And a friend of mine who was the captain's Joe, and he's like, man, there's always a stack of intelligence on his desk. I said, he's not going through. He's got an officer that goes through that.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, and that's what the officer is for, to go through it. And if the captain needs to know, then the captain knows. If the captain don't need to know. So any writing while you're in the Navy? I mean, I know it's kind of hard. Navy keeps you kind of busy. So
yeah, the writing kind of took a pause when I was in the Navy for the most part. Like I'd try every now and then, but I mean, when you're on the ship, all you do is work. There's really
that's all you do.
There's no time to do anything else.
Even when you're off, you work just so you're not bored out of your mind sitting around on a carrier. So, what do you mean, Jack?
How many times did you enter the contest, Tom, before you won?
I'm sorry?
How many times did you enter the contest before you won?
So before I joined the military and everything, I probably applied 4 or 5 times. I think I got an honorable mention.
And over 21 years ago. So 21 years, you're in the Navy. So before that, you entered the contest, and then you started up again afterwards.
Yeah, actually, I knew I had tried in high school and then into college because my English teacher in college was actually a winner. He'd been, his name is Dr. Dennis Miner. He won 2nd place for a story. I don't remember what year it was, but I think it was in the first 10 years of the contest.
Wow.
And he's the one who encouraged me to keep going. And I did get an honorable mention at the one time. And then after that, I joined the military, and that was it. So this is my first time to come back.
So you entered one more time after coming back, and then you got to 2nd place.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Pretty surprising. Yeah. Thank you.
That's very, very good. We've got some winners that have gone on and entered. I mean, the record was Preston Dennett, who's on the UPRN network. He entered 47 times. And we've got a couple different winners that started entering when they were, the first couple years, and then they took hiatuses like what happened with you, then went back to it again. But it's amazing how many, times some people have just entered. You just keep on plugging away at it. And that's the hardest thing. And it's some people consider an honorable mention a reject, and well, I didn't win. Well, it's a matter of viewpoint, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because I know some very famous authors now whose receipt of an honorable mention gave them what they needed to know that they had what it took to, if they just keep on persisting, they'd make the cut. So that's something that's, you know, that people don't understand. And I see press releases that come out now every couple of weeks where they don't say, you know, only got an honorable mention. It says I won honorable mention as part of their, you know, CV that they've got, you know, announcing themselves as an author. So that's great. So you had honorable mentions before the Navy and then a win after the Navy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I definitely consider that a win too.
It is.
Honorable mention. Anything coming back to me is a bonus.
Yeah, and just you've got an honorable mention means you're in the top 10% of writers out there. So right there automatically culls you from a lot of the chaff that's out there as writers when you make it to honorable mention, and then you move up to that. Orson Scott Card used to jokingly say especially when he had the Intergalactic Medicine Show, yeah, we get to publish whatever Writers of the Future rejects, you know. So, so it was funny how, you know, he did that. But so have you always written science fiction, or have you done fantasy too, or just because what you've got here is hard sci-fi?
It's pretty hard sci-fi. It's as hard as I can make it anyway. But I've also done, I do a lot of horror stuff too. And I think a lot of the stuff I submitted before that didn't make honorable mention was probably horror stuff that was kind of out of the scope. It was probably not a good match.
Yeah. We do have it every now and then, light horror, but not the super duper Stephen King stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of my stuff. So I can see why it didn't happen, why it didn't win, and why I probably shouldn't have submitted it to begin with.
I always tell people when they ask me PG-13 when you're submitting to Writers of the Future. Yeah, that's the easiest way I can explain it, because I could sit there all day and try to explain it to somebody, but it's
well, I tell them it's like what you said, Joe. PG-13. Also say just read the last book. I mean, that tells you what got accepted, and that's the quality you have to be.
Well, I was doing a lecture at Mississippi State, and they kept asking me. I said, "Guys, PG-13." I said, "Yeah." I actually kept saying, "You know what? It's writersfutures.com. You can go look for yourself. It tells you what the requirements are." I said, "I can give you the basic 17,000 words, no more." I said, "Just don't get stupid. This isn't, you know, no sex, no violence, no blowing, you know." And then I said, "Just figure PG-13." And then they're like, "Oh, okay." I said, "And for you who don't understand PG-13, go to the Writers of the Future site and read for yourself."
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them. I noticed when we're out and about, there's a lot of people interested. I mean, I don't know how many actually end up writing or sending anything into Writers of the Future, but there does seem to be a lot of interest in it. And no Kirby. I try to write. No, I've been trying to write, and I'll probably get another 20,000 words written while I'm down there in LA. It's so it'll put me at like 80,000 words or something. Oh no, that'll only be halfway. I got to figure out a way to finish this. Yeah, maybe I need to take a vacation for a month or something and just go finish it. So Tom, where you headed, babe? I know. So wait. So let me ask you this: Have you heard about the 24-hour story? Because I know that a lot of the people have it, some haven't. So I'm always asking this question, because I'm going to ask this again after you've been through this. So the next time we talk, I'm going to ask you more about it. But have you heard about it? I'm just curious.
I have heard about it. Yeah. And I heard there's something about they take us to go buy groceries so we can get prepped for this thing, and that it's a marathon.
It's fun to watch, is all I can tell you. From someone from the outside in, it's a lot of fun to watch. And I really do. I take a lot of pictures. I don't really bug anybody to interview them, because I know their brains already, you know, crushing. And I've heard really good stories like, "Oh, I sat down and wrote it no time at all." I've heard, "Oh, it took me a while, I wrote it." And I've heard, "Oh my God, I wrote a tour up to it." Next thing I know, it's 4:00 in the morning. I'm writing it again. So I'm just always curious. And then I've heard, you know, that some of these stories have actually made it into the marketplace. So that's always interesting.
Yeah, most of the winners end up selling their 24-hour story. Maybe they'll do some little tweaks to it, but then they end up selling it.
Hey Arthur, we're going to bring you in a few minutes, man. We got Arthur just came in with us, and so we're going to bring him in. But it's I mean, it's just a lot. So you're looking forward to LA and saying, where are you from?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're on the West Coast. You're up north and the West, aren't you?
Yeah. Actually, mostly, yeah, I was a Navy brat. So I was born in Japan, moved all over the place, but most of the time grew up in the South, and then like Louisiana and such, and then went on to after the Navy. I spent most of my time in the Pacific. So I think 6 years in Japan, 4 years in Hawaii, and then here.
Yeah, that's
Seattle.
It's you live in hell is where you live now, Seattle. No, I'm just teasing people. I got a lot of friends in Seattle. Y'all don't start writing to me. Y'all were hell. Y'all go back and forth. Today I'm actually on the Gulf Coast, but we broadcast out of New Orleans. It's
okay.
It's but yeah, right. Like today, I'm on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in the past, just chilling. My house is right on the water, so it's nice. I got a studio in the house, so it's real nice. And when I'm in the city, we had a big studio now, but we've downsized it because we don't know what the hell we're doing with it right now. So it's one of those things. But so any place they can find you, any stuff you want to share? I mean, anywhere they can look at you or
right now I have a tomvandermolen.com. It's a simple web page. I'm building it up right now. It's right now it links to a Facebook author page. I do have an author page on Amazon.com, which is just for the one other sale I've got so far. It's an anthology, horror anthology, very different from this. So if you're not looking for PG-13, that's fine.
You'll be found that with this book here, Writers Feature Volume 40, you'll be on Amazon and Goodreads. I mean, you're at Barnes & Noble. Your name will be up as an author in all these different Books A Million, Indigo up in Canada. We have distributors and books outlets there in South Africa and UK and Australia. So you're going to be all over the place there, which will be good.
You got to watch them.
Fantastic.
Canadians, man.
Yeah.
All Canadians are evil. I'm just man. And see how close you live to them up there. You close to crazies in Vancouver.
You got to keep an eye out up here.
Them people in BC are nuts. I'm just being honest. No, I got. Well, one of our shows.
Also, he feels like he's all tough and talking.
No, one of our shows.
But we'll wait till he gets close to his station manager that he's. Oh, I tell her what to do.
I tell everybody stay away from Niagara Falls. That's what I say. Stay away from Niagara Falls. We actually have a show out in BC and Vancouver. It's Spaced Out Radio's out there. So he does a 3 hour. He does a 3 hour late show out there from. I think it's like. I think he does it from 11 to 1 or 12 to 2 or something. But he's out there trying to take coast to coast. But he does a pretty good show. It's a lot of fun to listen to. And he's you can hear his somewhat Canuck of an accent he has. But I tell people all the time. Somebody said, "Well, why don't y'all talk more about accents?" I said, "Because we have 36 different hosts with at least 25 different accents."
Wow.
And I said, I got the worst. I got a coon-ass Cajun accent. I said, half the time nobody knows what I'm saying. I said, so it's one of the things. But we got to let you get out of here because we got to get Arthur because we're running a little bit late. But I can't wait to meet you when you get out there. I'm going to get with you probably before then. I'll probably invite you on News on the Flip Side, and you and I can get into some of what you were actually doing in the Navy and some of what we were doing. We can, because the boys are like talking about it, and I did a little security work while I was there, so it'll be an interesting conversation. We'll just say that. Nothing we can talk about here, though.
Just one last question before you go off there, just so I can know, because I'm working on what to send out to all the. What have you read any of the books by L. Ron Hubbard?
Yes, actually, I read Fear. I really enjoyed Fear, like back when I was in high school, I think. So I read a lot of his pulp stuff. I haven't read anything recent though.
You didn't read the Battle Through. Yeah, but Fear, there you go, that one.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, because that's what I normally send to the winners to read, because that they use that as part of. Because obviously, when he wrote the essays, you're going to be studying. Did you do the online writing course? The free online writing workshop?
No, I did not.
Anyway, so that's one of the things that you can go ahead and get a head start now, because I send out an email to everybody to do that. It's writersoffuture.com. It's free for anybody, but for the winners, you need to go through that, because then they're going to give you the advanced version of that at the workshop. But it's free. It's an online writing workshop at writersoffuture.com. Anybody else listening too, you can go to that as well. It's free, and it's taught by Orson Scott Card, Tim Powers, and Dave Wolverton, and about a dozen essays by L. Ron Hubbard in there.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And be sure you write in the comments. We all love EJ. That's right.
That's my wife. She's the one that put it together.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
It's that's her new name for the next 10 years until she smacks me, and then we might change.
Well, that was her name before she married me, was DJ Emily Jones. Now
Yes,
she's EJG for Emily Jones Goodwin.
Yes. EJG, that'll just confuse me. We're not going there. Again, Tom, it was great having you on. I can't wait to talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Great to meet you.
And
look forward to seeing you.
Like I said, I'll probably get with you probably next week or two about the other show, and then we'll get together when we're in LA about doing a real interview.
Looking forward to it.
Interview. All right. Thanks again, Tom. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
Bye.
And we have Arthur Haywood with us now. So, Arthur, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Good to see you. Nice to meet you.
Arthur was all patient down there while we're running a little late today. We had a little issue coming in earlier, but so we're just running late. So, man, how you doing today? Having a good day?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm at the museum right now, the Field Book Museum in Tulsa. How are you doing?
I'd like to be at a museum. I like going to museums. I'm trying to talk myself into going to see the Van Gogh immersive experience they have in New Orleans right now. So I've been wanting to go to that. It's a 3D experience of some kind. So I love that kind of stuff. So man, how do you feel? You're a winner now. You're like, I'm a winner. I got my book with the big dogs. Well, I mean, these guys know everybody. When I say they know everybody, they know everybody.
Really do. It's amazing to me. I used to write to one of the judges, Dan Dos Santos, when I was 16 in high school to ask him questions about illustration. And now 17 years later, I'm in a book with him that he did a cover for. So the experience has been incredible.
Yeah, and he'll be out here. He's going to be here. So you'll be able to actually just, sit down and share some root beer with him.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
He's a lot of fun. He's a good guy.
He really is. I've met him before, and he's a great person at the illustration masterclass. So I'm really looking forward to catching up with him.
Yeah. No, he loves stuff here. And it's just, there's such amazing talent that comes out here. So.
Now, I don't think he's not going to work the hell out of you while you're here. Now, I don't want to lie to you.
Echo's amazing. What she does, I don't know if you tracked her at all, but she's an amazing artist herself and a really good art director.
Yeah, her work reminds me a lot of Nuka.
Yeah, she's plus she's a lot of fun to chat with too. She's she got a great personality. She wants y'all to learn her when she's there, so she's very on y'all about learning. But she's always there with a smile too. So it's one of the things I like about her. So you got in. So first time submitting, second time, fifth time.
Actually, my seventh time submitting that I was able to win. So I feel really fortunate.
Good.
I feel like I improved in terms of my sensibility and storytelling. And so I'm really fortunate to have been a winner now.
That's way cool.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, just winning in seventh is pretty good. I mean, I have noticed, though, the illustrators have a little easier time winning faster than the authors do. Some of the authors are. It's
changing because now as the number of entries that come in each year for Illustrator is like each year it increases by like 20%. It's like it's growing rapidly as it gets more popular, like because of all the publicity you're going to get. And then like your dad did that proclamation for you, when you first got it.
Right.
And you got a lot of media at the outset and you'll be getting a lot more media, so it's just more people find out about it. And you've got a definite, attraction to a certain brand of artists that, each time we get like you in there now, you're going to find a whole new class of artists that we're able to reach. And each time we grow like that, we used to have it before when I have a lot of Chinese media that comes to the event. So we always have winners from China and then from the Middle East. And we have winners, we've had a couple from Africa, but I did a radio show a few weeks ago in South Africa. So I'm expecting that to help result in more entries. Definitely. So that's really good. Now, the type of art that you do is how do you qualify that? How do you name that?
I guess you can qualify it under the term of imaginative realism. I try to portray heroic and creative aspiration, fantastic lens. The work that I do is just a metaphor for the trials, the tribulations that we all go through and showing the hope and courage that people can have in terms of overcoming, some of those obstacles.
Yeah. No, I can't wait to see your art. So real quick. So, when we do a second interview, we allow all the illustrators to bring their art on if they want to show it.
Ah.
So if you've got a website or something, or just you can send it to us. What we do is we'll
Mhm.
put it up in the system with us right here,
Mhm.
and then we'll put it up on the screen. It'll make our little butts all go to the side and be little small people over here, and then your art's portrayed prominently in the middle of the screen, so everyone can really look at it. And you can, and it also allows you to kind of go through the process and what made you think about this or that or the other thing. So it gives the listener a little more, or the viewer, a little bit better understanding of the artist themselves. I notice it's a little easier with the artist because in that aspect, because you the work's right there in front of your face. With an author, it's different. If you haven't read the book, you don't always know what we're talking about. But with the illustrator, they can say, well, shit, that's really nice. Let me take a look at this. It also can help to generate sales and things like that. So, I mean, it's just something that's just plus, and we tell everybody the same thing. When this interview and the other interview is done, they'll be on YouTube for public use. So you can go anytime you want, download them, use them for whatever you want. So if you've got a bunch of your artwork on there, you just want to show somebody, you can just send them there, and they can just look through it, and they can actually listen to you giving us the descriptions of the artwork just to help them. It's just an added benefit that we do to help all y'all get out there, because I know how it is to have to start in the world.
Right. I appreciate that help a lot.
Yeah, it's just an add in. And then of course John is pushing you out to everybody and their grandmama. So I mean, it's a lot of exposure. I mean, there's a lot of media. What it really is, and what's most important about the media, it's a lot of media, but it's friendly media.
Yeah.
It's not media that's there to judge you. It's media there to help you. It's a different kind of media. So you're not going to have some idiot up there bugging you about this or the other thing. I mean, all of us, all the media there wants to see the same thing. We want to see all of y'all succeed. I want to see y'all succeed so I can say, if I know him, oh, hell yeah. I want to go see his artwork. I want a freebie.
I really appreciate all the support. It's been overwhelming.
So they're good people.
Yeah, I'm curious, what type of medium do you use to create your art?
Right. So I use oil paint to create my traditional.
You're already one of my favorites.
I'm really inspired by the amount of different textures that can be used to convey atmosphere, skin tones, different textures that can be manipulated with oil paint. And so I use oil paint for my traditional illustrations. Also work figuratively. So, there's a whole tradition to figurative traditional art, and use that style to tell stories within my paintings.
So can you define that a bit? Like, explain, what does that mean? The figurative?
Right. So realistic art with human figures in it. And that is just such a visual language in and of itself, just from facial expression. You can interpret so many different stories in an instant. It's a universal language.
Yeah.
So using that as the style that I work with is how I like to convey stories.
I got you. Because I was just on the panel with Brian Hales. He's one of our judges now. He was a winner back in volume 19. And he's incredibly successful right now. He no longer has to do commissions. He just does what he wants to because he's been so successful. He's just really well. But he likes doing the oil. But he said the problem with oil for him is that he has to wait a week if there's any changes, so it's to set a little bit. Whereas with acrylic, he can work it a lot faster. Although with oil, what he likes, if there is a change, then he can, while the paint's still fresh, he can still change the colors and work around with it. So he's got pluses and minuses for both the acrylic versus the oil. And when he's got stuff on the deadline, he's got to do he likes doing the acrylic stuff. If he does like things for corporations or for cover stuff, and then he scans it, and then they say, well, can we have the sword handle being red instead of blue? And then that's where the Photoshop comes in, and now, ding, it's blue instead of red.
Yeah, Photoshop is a great tool now. And also there's so many different mediums to make the oil paints dry quicker. And if you need to make a change, you don't have to wait to necessarily scan it. You can just take a photograph of it at this point. And so there's the shortcut, around some of that process that, I found. But I found the same thing using acrylic paint. It dries in about 5 minutes. And so it makes it a lot more difficult to blend. Blend for days, weeks, depending on mediums that you use.
Yeah.
So more flexible and more forgiving.
Exactly. So but do you ever do stuff where you create Photoshop, or is that just for the tail end when you need
I incorporate Photoshop into our process mostly for composition sketches to play around with different ideas before, I send it to someone that I'm doing a project with. And so that's a quicker way to come up with ideas and also show them and make changes.
Yeah.
And normally at the end, if I know I scan the paintings into a computer for a digital file, so I edit it in Photoshop at the end. And if there's small changes that need to be made, I'll definitely resort to Photoshop to make those changes.
Yeah.
And for the bulk project, it's with oil paint.
Hey, Galen, we see you down here, but we're running a little late, so I just want to acknowledge that we knew you were here. Sorry about that, Arthur. I just seen him down there in the queue. Man, look, I love oils. I mean, it's one of my favorite things. I'm always bugging the judges and the winners if they do oils because I really, really like oils. One of the reasons I like having Echo on, she's big into oils. Her and I, we did her nudie collection or her naughty collection one night, I guess you would call it. It's a really, really well done collection she's got. It's all done in oils. I mean, I don't know what it is for oils in me. I guess growing up in New Orleans, it's different. A lot of like the original Mardi Gras posters were all done in oil. You see a lot of old oil down in the different down here. They got all kind of art shops on different streets like Magazine and Royal, and they're all some of them 100, 150 years old. You never know what you're going to find. I found one of Larry Harris's pictures he had done from one of the Mardi Gras posters. He had done the Angel and Devil series, and I just walked up and this thing was huge. I mean, we're talking monster. Like, my wife's like, "You're not putting that on a fucking wall anywhere." I'm like, "It's gorgeous," but it was all dirty and dusty. So I talked to the guy. I think I got it for like $750. I think it sold somewhere between. It was like I can't remember. It was 28, 38. It was close to 40 G's when it sold, and all I did was take it home, dust it off. I took a light damp, patted it dry. Took a couple of pictures of it, sent it to the auction house, and they put it up on the thing with a reserve, and boom, it was sold. I was like, you got to be kidding me, because it was one of my favorite posters. I had one of those posters on my walls forever. It was just one of my favorites, So, but it's so I got this thing for oils, and I will go track them down in places. I even got a couple in my house. I got some big ones in the front of my house. They're basically flowers is what they are, but they're big, huge. I mean, they're big, like 36 by 26 pictures on my wall. So
that's another oil paintings. It becomes an immersive experience where you feel like you're in the world of the painting if it's at that scale, and and bring forth the foreground and different textures, the background recede, so you can really create like a sculpture of a world just 2-dimensionally.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see you work because it's something I really enjoy. Go ahead, John.
Yeah.
Now you're still in school in Tulsa, right?
I'm doing finished up an art residency in Tulsa, so I'm doing some public mural commissions here in Tulsa now. So I've been doing these large scale paintings for schools to encourage students to read. So I paint them.
You go around and do the murals on sides of buildings.
The ones that I'm doing now are public paintings inside. So their size about life size, about 4 by 6 feet. And so they're oil paintings, but they're actually on canvas. And then I hang the paintings in the schools.
Oh, that's going to be nice.
Students inside of fantasy or science fiction worlds to get them excited to dive into the world of stories.
Yeah. Who was it? One of the artists had done an oil on the side of a store. It was really cool. At first I thought, when I originally talked to him, I thought it was acrylic or latex or something. And then when he and I talked, he said no. He said because he wanted to make sure. He said he couldn't get the latex to roll up, which I had no idea what he was talking about until he explained it to me. He said, I wanted you to be able, if you ran your hand on it, I wanted you to like feel the wave on the painting. I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, because I had seen some other stuff he had done in acrylic or actually in latex, but I was quite impressed by this. I can't remember his damn name now.
Yeah, but the textures, the opacity of the textures is so much dimension that can create it, just through the opacity. Like you're talking about the wave with, physical paint that can add to the experience. No,
it does. It is.
There's a guy that's going to be coming to the awards event. I was just looking to see if I can have I don't remember his name, but he went around, he's traveled the world doing these murals in schools and all over the place on literacy and reading. And he's done a whole big thing on that. He'll be coming. So hopefully he makes it here. Now I'll introduce him because he's traveled the world doing these, what you're talking about there, those murals in schools, on the sides of buildings, hospitals, just like these huge, they're like huge walls that he'll paint, but he gets commissioned to do these things.
I would love to be with him and learn.
Yeah.
Mural work is big money. I know down here, the rich and famous like to have their big murals put on their walls. I've seen them done in latex. I've seen them done in pastels. I've seen them done in oil. I've seen them done in all sorts of things. It just depends what they want. One of my owners, he drove me crazy. He's building a new home, so he wanted this navigation scene put on his rounded ceiling that was 30 feet up. And I was like, "What do you want?" And then he said, "I want." He said, "I want the compass, the 4-pointed compass thing." And I want the goal. He said, "I want to point to wherever it's going to go." And he said, "I want everything set up like it's a real compass." And he said, "Then I want it to be like a gold ceiling that fades into a sunset on the other side." I'm like, "What?" Mm-hmm. So he paid $147,000 for this on his ceiling. It took the guy and his wife 3.5 weeks to finish it for the tune of $147,000. And because everybody who's seen it liked it so much, he probably picked up another $500,000 worth of work out of it.
Wow.
And you know where I found this guy in the French Quarter painting on, he was doing murals on walls up there, and somebody had recommended him, and I had caught him working on a wall. I said, "Look," I said, "let me show you this sketch. Can you do this 30 feet up in air?" And I forgot how many feet long it was. He's like, "I'm pretty sure." I brought him to the house. He's like, "Yeah." And he kept underbidding himself, and I pulled him on the side. I said, "Look, this is going to take a lot of time. Do it right." I said, "I think you can get about 140, 150 grand. I said, "Just tell him like 150. I said, "Tell him 160. Tell him 160. And he came back with 147. So he got it. He was thrilled. Every time he sees me now, "Can I buy you lunch, man?"
Right.
I'm like, "So you can buy me a car is what you can buy me, buddy." But still.
Point.
But it is. But see, that's another reason I like meeting illustrators.
Yeah, and like you're talking about the public murals, it's another way to bring art to people. You know, I've met so many kids who've never been to a museum before. It's expensive, it's far away, but you can bring the art to them in their own space and make it part of the process as well too. To make it,
the city has the prisoners art thing, so they take prisoners out of New Orleans and major jails and bring them down and let them paint art on all these big buildings around the metro area. They do some beautiful murals. I mean, they got one that's a sea scene for the whatever the hell you call it. But anyway, they've got all kind of whales and dolphins and all kind of sea stuff on there for the aquarium. It's what it's for. And they did a great job on it. I mean, and then they even paid them. They said, "Look, we're not going to Jew you out of this." Excuse my language there. They said, "Well, I don't want to start no wars because this is bad comment on my part." It was, but anyway, they made sure they were all paid handsomely for the work they did. And I think, and you know, when you read about these particular people later on, the ones that finally got out of jail seem to have found their calling, their career, and went that way. I just like to see people in art because you know I have a lot of talented people in my family, so I always like to see. Not me, I can't even draw a stick man, but.
Who's the artist that was it? Banksy or
Right, Banksy. He was
Banksy, yeah. So I've got some guy that'll probably also be coming to the event. He tours with him and does the photo stuff for him, you know, when he's doing things. But that's an example of someone who's just like the whole mystique. Nobody, you know, quote unquote, ostensibly nobody knows what he looks like, but his stuff is just so amazingly valuable. They put covers over it, you know, lucite over it so that people can't destroy it.
Wow.
Yeah, they really need to. We got 2 minutes. So, any places you want to tell them to find you, or where they can look at you, or don't tell these peeping Toms anything, but the rest of them you can tell.
Thank you for having me on the show. You know, I have a website where you can see my illustrations and some of the public murals. ArthurHaywood.com. ArthurHaywood. My Instagram handle is the same, Arthur Haywood. So please take a look. Thank you.
Absolutely. I look forward to meeting you, and also your dad. Your parents are coming out too. They just confirmed a few days ago.
Take it.
His dad's senator. He's a state senator. So
that's even better, man.
So hopefully, I've been talking to his office about getting a proclamation for all the winners there in Pennsylvania. So hopefully that goes good.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Well, we got 5 hosts out of Pennsylvania. Yeah, we got 5 hosts out of Pennsylvania. I'll scattered all over the damn state too, man. I mean, they're scattered all over the place. We got one that a couple living in the Horseshoe Chronicles house. this thing. Every time they talk about this house, I'm like, I would have moved. I would have say, here, let me sell the damn thing and I'm moving. But I look forward to seeing you when we get out to LA. We'll get together and we'll get your artwork up so that they can actually take a look at your artwork while we're talking. You know, you could, while we're having this regular conversation, it can be sitting up here and you can just talk about whatever piece that we have up there at the time. And like I said, again, I love oils. I'm a big fan of oil. I'm always disappointed when an artist tells me they don't do oil. I'm like, damn. Well, I mean, yeah, it's just me, people. I'm not saying everybody's got to like oil, okay? Before you start writing to John and giving him hell about it. No, address all email to Emily Goodwin at galaxypress.com. Yes.
You've got 2 reasons to whack him when you come out here.
Usually I say addressed all email to Michelle DeRoche, but tonight, since this is an Arthur show, direct all email to Emily Goodwin at writersofthefutures.com. Yes, galaxypress.com is probably better. Well, no, Writers of the Futures, if you got a book to submit or you want to go to the class, that's where you go. If you want to go purchase one of L. Ron's books, you go to galaxypress.com. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
the
the easiest way.
Thank you very much, Arthur. It's been great meeting you facially now, not just voicily.
Hey, good looking guy too, babe. Can't wait to see you out there.
Thank you. Oh, looking forward to meeting you in person.
You have a good one, man. We'll see you soon.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Galen, how you doing down there, man?
I'm doing well, thank you. Can you hear? Everybody can hear me okay?
Yeah, you're coming in great. Galen Westlake, you actually got an easy name. Yesterday, everybody I brought on the show yesterday had some name from like a third world alien country or something. I was like, where you got these names from? Third world alien country. I didn't say America or, whatever we may be living in today. What's that, Janine? But anyway, so Arthur, illustrator, which one?
I am an author.
Yeah. So
strange thing to say, but apparently it's true.
Yes. So how many times it took to get in?
Oh, 1 million. I'm not sure I've counted, but it's a very, very big number.
It's a very big number.
Well, the record of 47 is the record that we know of.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know if it was that large.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So don't worry. You made it. That's the senior day, and that's the most important datum.
Well, in my defense, I came close a couple of times over the years, so it wasn't all bad.
So when you start writing, when you're young, middle, I mean, first two questions in one. When did you start writing? What made you start writing?
Oh, I've always been writing. I just haven't been writing very well. I have to say, it took the invention of the spell check before I could ever really start to do any kind of real writing. And then,
so now, Joe, Galen's a Canadian.
That's right.
Yes. Well, we got a lot of Canadians. We have 1, 2.
My wife's
three,
a Canadian.
Yes, his wife's a Canadian. My station manager Canadian. Her co-host is a Canadian. Scott out there, he's a Canadian, and then we have another couple of Canadians. We have 6 on the network actually. We got one as far as Saskatchewan. Why the hell they live up there is beyond me. 1 in Toronto, 2 in Ontario, 1 in Niagara Falls, and 2 in BC, I think it is, or Vancouver.
Exporting artists is a Canadian tradition.
Yes, well, I mean they like that old Canadian place up there. Like, it's too cold for me. I live in the deep south. I don't even live in the south. I live in the deep south. I mean, you can't, if you look out the side of my house, you can't even go more than another 80 feet. And that's as far as you can go south without getting in the water. I'm just, so I like living in the south.
Well, I'm very jealous. It's quite chilly over here today.
Where in Canada are you?
I'm in Mississauga, which is kind of like a suburb of Toronto.
Yeah, they're with Rob Sawyer and several of other authors. We also have I've got a podcast coming up, interview I'm doing let's see, in a couple of weeks with, he was a grand prize winner. I got to finish reading his Stephen Kotowicz. Do you know him?
I don't.
He was a grand prize winner, I don't know, 10 years or so ago, but he's there. And I think he's also in Mississauga.
Oh.
Yeah. So now I have a question. What's a moot court champion? Your bio says, born and raised in Canada, Galen was a nationally ranked debater and moot court champion.
Oh, I thought we took that out of my bio, but I guess it's
maybe it's taken out. I got an earlier version.
Still hiding in there.
You got the hidden version.
Back in my law school days, when they train you, pretend court is called moot court. where you appear in front of real judges and you argue fake cases. And I had a lot of fun with that over the years, and at times I did pretty well.
Oh God, okay, that is.
It was all downhill from there, though. So, but it was great. It's good. You get a captive audience. You get to talk. What's not to love?
That's true. You do have a captive audience. It's not.
Poor judges, they can't go anywhere.
Y'all's court system's a little bit different than ours, anyway. But it's I got some other friends that work in, we'll just say, legal areas in Canada. And they're like, well, y'all do things different than we do. I said, yeah, we just shoot you when we're tired of listening to your ass. We had enough of you. That's, Well, a friend of mine sent me a picture this morning from out of France. He said, this is what we all think about American breakfast. I had 1 egg, 2 pieces of toast, a pile of bacon this big, and a 9mm sitting next to a glass of orange juice. I'm like, really? He said, yeah, this is what we think. I said, that's not how Americans eat, my friend. I said, where do you get these images from? Well, we watch your TV. I said, well, not all of us carry guns. I said, I do, but not all of us carry guns. And I said, it's definitely not a breakfast with me. It was just funny to see it. And he's actually an author. He says, well, maybe I can include this into my book. I'm like, Jesus, you're insane. So title of the story, just give me a little tiny bit. That you can't give me much information, just a little bit.
Well, the title isn't going to give you much at all. It's the title of the story I wrote was called The Imagilisk.
Oh, well, you got to give me a little bit more than that now.
Sure, I can tell you somewhat.
Just
what
a little
about.
bit, no, but just a little bit now.
The story is about an octogenarian. He's an 80-year-old guy who's near the end of his life, and he's suffering from severe dementia. And his family's dumped him in a long-term care facility, and he's pretty much the end of the road for him. And he's there, and he's going to encounter a supernatural event, and he'll have to decide whether he's just losing his mind or if interesting things are happening.
It was such a fun story. I got to say, I really, really, really enjoyed reading it.
I can't wait to read it.
I enjoyed writing it. Thank you. I was in a COVID haze at the time, and it kept me going. So
it was very clever, and I love uplifting stories. So you don't see non-uplifting stories in Writers of the Future, so that I'm not really giving anything away if you won. And even more so now with pandemic and post-pandemic, we also have a little bit more attention on trying to have that uptick on stories because there's so much divisiveness out there right now.
For sure.
Not just U.S., Canada. I mean, it's just all over the place. So something that people can just enjoy, like it was a feel-good story. So I just really like your story.
Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, I enjoy reading it. Then it's I usually get the book. John usually sends it to me about a month before, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just came back from from Utah and from Colorado Springs on those 2 writing conferences, Superstars and Life Universe and everything. So I've got a box of books I'll be sending a copy to you, and I'll have the ebook probably this weekend. I can send out to reviewers so I can start getting reviews scheduled and going.
Yes, because it's I usually read it. He sends to me. I usually read it the first 2 days, and then I'll read it on the airplane flying. I've read 3 of them on the airplane now. I have found that after I read them the first time, it's easier just to go through it. I can read it much faster the second time around. So it's a nice read on the airplane. And if I don't finish it, I'll finish it in the hotel room. But I like to have it fresh in my memory, so when we do interviews, that the information's in the back of my head. Because I may ask a particular question, and why did you write that particular thing? What like you said, COVID. I might even ask it. Were you like in a COVID frenzy when you wrote this? I can ask some really insane questions sometimes, but it's I usually catch all of y'all because everybody's running around half crazy while they're down there, so it makes for a much different type of interview. Because your brain's running all over the place. So when you're asking questions, you usually have 50 answers for the one question. Because you're running around nonstop. So you're going to get down there, you're going to get in LA and just tear it up. I mean, there's a lot. You're going to learn a lot. I know that.
I hope
What
so.
are you most looking forward to coming down here to LA? Because you've been working at this thing for a while.
I've never been to a writer's workshop, so I'm looking forward to that. I know I've got a lot to learn, so this is terrific.
Did you take the free online writing workshop, the one that writersofthefuture.com?
I might have a long time ago, but I'm not sure.
It's been up for like 4 years. We put it up just at the beginning of the pandemic. But I'll be sending out or Johnny will be sending out an email to all winners saying all the writers need to get through that, do all the videos and the essays, because we've got a dozen videos with Orson Scott Card, Tim Powers, and Dave Wolverton on the different parts of story writing, because the workshop now is going to be the next level up from that. It used to be the workshop, and now we've raised it a bar.
I'm ready to do my homework.
Good. And if you read Hubbard stories, have you read any of Hubbard stories?
I have in volume 40.
No, just any of his works that he's written. He wrote all the pulp stories. He wrote Battlefield Earth, Mission Earth.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, they've been in many of the volumes over the years.
But so you've only read his stories that have been in the Rise of the Future books.
I think that's right.
Okay, cool.
That's right.
Well, I can tell you I've read everything that's behind me over here, plus some stuff that you can't see on the side of me over there. And then there's some other stuff before my pad went flying to Mars. Some other stuff I had written. I said, damn, I'm tongue-tied today. But anyway.
Mostly you listen to it.
Yeah, most of it I have listened to. In all fairness, that's the truth. There was a few I read, but most of them were just listened to. It's much easier for me. Anything in audio is way easier for me. I think I'm in book 6 of Mission Earth now. I finally got back to listening to it, and which is also a great story when you listen to it. It's fun. It's
crazy how accurate it is. And it was written back in 81, 82, and it's just so like what's happening right now.
But Jamie, the protagonist is a retard. That's as nicely as I can say it. And no, I'm not being politically correct. And screw y'all. No, because really and truly, he is. Well, what's his face does his voice just great.
Jim Escman,
yeah, he does. I don't know why I can never remember his name, but he does the voice great. He's doing a good job. All the special effects, all the voices are good. There's a lot of stuff in there. No, there's actually some women that are actually men, but you don't really tell in the thing. Well, no, I didn't know until I went back and read the credits. I was like, wait, that's like, what? Wait, who's this?
Yeah.
So, but I'm not going to give away
this Sultan Grease, the guy you're talking about now. When we survey, like, what's your favorite character? Most people identify with Sultan Grease more though than Jitro Heller and then or Countess Crack. He's more real to them. It's like, it's crazy, but that's how.
Yeah, it is, because he's just
when Delaware wrote it, it was just like, I mean, he was tracking where people are at, that they could more relate to Sultan Grease, who's just, they look at him as being the victim, but he's sets himself up for all of his falls.
Yeah, he's just tripping through life in his own little world.
But anyway, Messmans are starting to record the volume 40 audiobook this week, so we're being recorded now.
Oh, wow.
So I can listen to his voice. He don't have one of them voices that bothers me. What are you talking about in that one? No, so book 4 is just porn, people. I'm just warning y'all ahead of time. It's not that kind of porn. It's not real porn. It's bad. Is all I can say. It's actually good. It's a lot of fun. No, it is. It's a lot of fun. Book 5 was a little different than I thought it was going to be. So it in a different direction, I guess would be saying it. And but I got through it. I was doing a lot of driving recently, so I got through it. So book 6, it's I mean, I like the hero, I like the protagonist, I like everybody in it so far. I mean, all the participants in the book have been fun. See, I like, as you can tell, I like audiobooks because it's just way easier in my life to deal with one.
So, Galen, I'm just curious, when did you? Because our first guest, Tom Vandermolen, has been entering since he entered 3, 4, 5 times. Then he went 21 years in the military, and then he entered again afterwards. When did you start entering the contest?
I think 7 or 8 years ago I first started, and then I just gradually been entering ever since. And
good.
Now I'm free. I don't have to anymore. So I kind of got hooked on it. It's a wonderful contest. I'm very grateful for everybody for making that available. It's as they call, I think people describe it, that tiered rejection system lets you feel like you're actually progressing, and that's really
that's the idea,
something you can't get anywhere else. So
and the fact too that it's blind judge, so that you won because it was your story only. They have no idea anything about you other than the number assigned to your story. So we have winners from 8 different countries this year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So then, so you like mean, that's fantasy. Is that what you mostly like to write, is fantasy?
Maybe. I enjoy both. I'll write anything I can get my hands on. So.
Yeah, because that's kind of like an urban type of a fantasy thing that you did there. It's not high fantasy.
I think that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Never sure some things don't quite fit into genres, but I think that's probably as close as one could get, an urban fantasy type story.
Yeah. We just posted a blog at writersoffuture.com, which defines the different types of fantasy subgenres. And we're about ready to post one this week on this different kinds of science fiction subgenres, because there's so many different kinds of stories, and
somebody will come along and invent a new one and break the mold.
But what's amazing though is so what you wrote there, and any of the winners, usually, because the ones that are dedicated and keep on pushing through, about a half dozen years down the road, those are the types of stories that people will be buying in bookstores, because you're you're the front wave, of publishing. So that's a reputation that Writers of the Future has. We're introducing the best of the best. And so that you're out there, what you're going to be writing, because you're not writing what you're brand new, so it's not like Stephen King has to write what Stephen King writes. He's kind of into his thing there, He's
kind of stuck.
Yeah. I mean, there's no problem being stuck as a billionaire or whatever, what he does. But anyway, he's got
poor Stephen King.
Poor Stephen King. Well, I don't know where it doesn't fit, but still, poor rich Stephen King. Yes,
you read steampunk a half a dozen years before it became a genre you bought out there. We're always ahead of the curve, because these are the guys that are creating the new subgenres, the new takes, the new spins on a standard, storyline. What you did was wow, that was just so clever what you did there. But I can go through every story, because I proofread the book before it went to press, and everyone is just wow, that's how clever. Just how they think that.
But oh my God, there's some really good stories in that volume. I'm one of the lucky skunks who got to read it in advance. Wow. Yeah. Some days I don't know how I made it into that book, but
well, it was a good story. That's how you made it in there. So stop being Canadian. At least
be a good story. That's right. It's a good story you get in. Crappy story you don't get in. No, Raymond. No, you got to go to writersoffuture.com to submit. 17,000 words or less. Yes. The judges like it around 8,000 or 9,000. Yes, but I shouldn't tell you that out loud. It's John will get on me if y'all say that in front of him. Y'all behave. Y'all getting me in trouble. No, well, really.
Because some people put so much fat in there, you need to trim it. So it's just a good story. And so we've had a few winners that were 17,000 words.
That's right.
For the most part, it's it is that 6,000 to 9,000, 6,000 to 8,000 is
that's an easy read for anybody who's reading it. For the authors, I don't know if it's any easier for them to do 9,000 or 17, but for the reader, it's much easier. It's a much easier trip down fantasy lane there. It's a faster trip down fantasy lane, I guess. You get to the point faster, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I enjoy it. Like I said, as long as it's an audiobook, I enjoy them. I love to hear a good audiobook. And I know book 40 is going to be an audiobook, so I'll be listening to it later. But I'll actually read them first, because I won't have time to wait because of the interviews. But anything you want to tell anybody they can find you anywhere, any place you're hiding out? Or
well, there's a GalenWestlake.com, but hopefully it'll have good things on there in the future.
It will.
But, it's just a website right now.
It's going to get a lot of press. I can tell you that. Over the next few months, it's going to get a lot of press. And I'll tell you another little secret: don't be scared to talk to the judges. They like to talk. They okay, that was the wrong way of saying it. But anyway, they like to be approached and talked to. They really do. It's the judges. The judges really and truly are there for you. That's what they're there for. When I ask them, I've asked every judge is there for 3 years now. What are you here for? I mean, why do you come? What is it that you're looking to do? And it's always the same answer. I'm here for them. I'm here to help them to be me. And I love when they say stuff like that, because it is. And, you can ask them questions at BarCon. You can ask them questions at lunch. I mean, a lot of times they'll ask you to come to lunch with them. I mean, if you're hanging around. So I got to say it's very unique in the way they're willing to interact. because frankly, I'd be like, "Yeah, leave me the hell alone." So that's why. But the judges are not like that. They're very patient, very understanding, and very successful. So you get
Yes.
you get the thing that they're very successful. And from what I've seen, I mean, you're not just learning about writing, you're learning about the business end of it. You're learning on how to use your imagination better. I mean, there's just so much that's in there, and it actually helped me because like I said, I couldn't draw a stick man. I couldn't write anything until I spent some time with these people. And now when I'm up there, it seems like it's fairly easy for me to write while I'm there. So it's nice. And it's nice. And I mean, all the judges, you just ask them and they'll answer you. And I got to say, several of the judges are going to be very pointed, which is really good. They just tell you, this, I think this, or you might be better doing this, or let me show you how to do this. And I see there's other ways that they stimulate your imagination, which two of those classes, I found were very interesting on how they went about stimulating your imagination to get a story started. I thought, what was her name? With the lady with the sheets. What was her name, John?
Want the dice?
Yeah, with the dice. What was her name?
Yeah, that's Nina Kariki Hoffman.
Yes, that was interesting. That was kind of interesting. It was just another way to get your memory or your imagination stimulated. But I've seen several ways while I was there. I mean, it was really nice for people. See, what I'm writing isn't it's sort of fantasy, but it's sort of real. So I have to stay to a certain line. But for authors who are just looking for stuff to write, I found that a good way to get into the material. I mean, and then you can go anywhere from there is what I found interesting about it. But I look forward to seeing you. I can't wait to see you when they do the 24-hour store and you're pulling your hair out of your head.
Oh,
you're like, no.
You're gonna be with us on 1 March, right, for the cover reveal.
yes.
Yeah, so that's one thing people need to know, that this I'll put it up on your different social pages then, Joe. I'll send it to you so you can put it around too, so that you have to sign up in order to be able to go to it. But we have the cover reveal for volume 40. We'll have Dan Dos Santos will be there, and so will S.M. Sterling, who wrote the short story against that cover, and so they're going to be there talking about it. And so that's when we'll reveal what the covers. It's an amazing cover that Dan painted.
I'm looking forward to it.
I know. The last 2 years when we carried the reveal in the live part of the reveal, did really well. Yeah, people are most interested, but we only start. We have to give them time to get. It's text it. You don't need to know about any of that, but it's very interesting. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of tears. It's happy tears before anybody writes to me and asks me. It's just it's interesting when I ask the authors, especially, did they capture your story with their picture? And 99% of them so far have told me yes. And they weren't being nice; they were being honest, because I asked them in the moment, which is easier to get the truth out of somebody. And they were just like, "No, it's perfect," and they'll go through and tell me why it's actually perfect, which is fabulous. I like hearing that stuff. To me, I got to say, there was more emotion involved in this than when I first expected when I came down the first year with them which was a COVID year. There was a lot more emotions in the whole entire thing than I realized, and not just with the winners, but with the judges and all the people who worked there and everybody else. And even at the gala, you'll see there's a lot of emotion there. There's a lot of people put a lot of work in. There's a lot of press, a lot of good-looking people running around in their dresses and tuxes and stuff. So, and lots of picture taking. And so, if you don't have a good picture of yourself, you will after this. There is no doubt about that. You will have a great picture of yourself after that. But I look forward to seeing you down there. So we'll get together sometime while we're down there and get a good hour interview in, so we can go get into a little bit deeper and why you're here, what you're doing, why the hell you decide you wanted to write this. We'll get into some of the genre stuff as well. Just because, I personally like, what the hell? Why can't I ever remember this? Near now science fiction. What the hell you call it, John?
Near future.
Yeah, near future science fiction. So I like that. It's a thing for me. I like things like The Expanse and a couple other TV series that are like that. So it feels more real to me. Don't get me wrong. I can get into all the fantasy stuff like Star Wars and Star Trek, but the stuff like The Expanse and Altered Carbon just feel more like where we're actually headed as a society. So I enjoy them more. Thinking, you poor people are screwed in the future. I'm just teasing. Anyway, Arthur, Galen, you've been great, man. I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you down there in a couple of weeks.
First in a few weeks.
And yes,
I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yes, yeah. and John and I will both be harassing you, so just know it ahead of time. On that note, thanks again, Arthur. We got Kayla coming in, so I want to tell you thanks again. And again, see you down there. Oh, I see this young lady sitting down here hiding out. Let's see if we can get her up here with us. Oh, yeah. Hey, how you doing there?
How do I?
Hi.
Oh, finally get to see you.
Well, I'll grab that, dude. It's
Cal.
Cal, how are you doing down there? Well, you're on the other side of the planet, basically, aren't you?
Lumpur.
Yes, I am. It is 6:30 in the morning.
It's
What time is it?
6:30
in the morning.
6:30 in the morning.
Yes.
So it's 4:30 in the afternoon for me. I think it's 2:30 in the afternoon for him.
Yes.
6:30 in the morning. Well, I appreciate you coming on with us. Thank you very much, because I know I don't like getting up at 6:30 in the morning. I'd be like, leave me sleep, people. Leave me alone.
It's okay. It's worth it.
Yeah, so illustrator, artist.
I am an
illustrator, author. I'm sorry. I said
Author,
artist,
yes.
illustrator. Arthur. So you coming down to be serious. So I always ask everybody the same question. How many times did it take to get in?
This is my first time.
Yeah, she's one of those kind of writers.
Oh my God, a first timer. Oh, well, I can't wait to meet you in person. The first time. Well, you don't meet many first time. I mean, I meet a lot of first timers and illustrators, but not so much in the authors.
No,
I think I've
she's
met
one of those rare breeds.
Yeah, I think I've met 5 altogether or something, maybe 6. It ain't a lot, I can tell you that, for the amenities. So, name of your story?
It's called Butter Side Down.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. So you can give me just a little tidbit, because I'm going to read this story in a couple of weeks, but just give us a little tidbit for the audience so they know when it's time to buy the book, they know what they're going to buy.
Well, it's about a man who is the only human in his space exploration team. He finds what he thinks is a sentient toaster on what's supposed to be a dead planet.
Oh, see, I see space and dead planets. I always like this. I love anything in space. I can't help myself. It's a dumb thing for me. If it's in space, I enjoy it. I don't know what that is. Probably because I wanted to be an astronaut as a kid or something. So
this was what this book is too, because it says in her about she wrote this story hoping to bring smiles to a few faces, and that's something we're really, especially right now with as divisive as everything is in the world, and everything's like, blue. Someone says no, green. It's just they automatically have to oppose it just because that's what they got to do. So when you got stories like what Cal's written and several others are just like, they're very fun stories. They're just like, they provide some hope, which is important. And her bio is real fun too, because she was what says that she was going to do it right. Her ambition of someday working in an office and maybe even getting to wear a tie. She spent most of her time reading instead of playing outside. Eventually, she figured out all those books had to be written by someone, and then she went and became one of those someones.
Well, hey, look, following your ambitions is always a good thing. I mean, I wouldn't be in radio and construction otherwise. I mean, I got degrees and all kind of stuff other than what I'm doing for a living. So I can truly understand it. So, first off, how old were you when you first started writing? And what possessed you to write?
I must have been about 13, I think, and it started with school plays, with stupid things to entertain my friends, and then I realized that, hey, I really like this actually.
That's a good thing. I mean, if you started out liking it and you just took it off from there, that's always a plus. So, I mean, was your friends that convinced you were going to be an author, or you just had it somewhere in the back of your head? I like this. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. I mean, story sounds fun. Yes. Because I always want to, because sometimes I see, people's families might try to push them in a particular direction or something. And, all the judges always tell me, don't let your mom or dad read your stories. Somebody else read it.
No, but that's true though. I come from a very, Asian background where books are good and you should always read as much as you can, but writing books is not a real job.
Yeah. So did your parents get over your having gotten your 14 degrees and decided to become a writer?
I've only got the 1 degree, but yes, they are finally over it. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. I think my mom would have smacked me in my head if I had told her I was going to be an author. It's and I can understand that when you say that about the real job thing. I've heard other people, say that it is a real job because some of the wealthiest people on the planet are authors. So obviously, it's a real job,
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some seriously wealthy authors out there, and there's some serious authors that are mid range that are very, very comfortable. We can say,
Yeah.
so-
And now with self-publishing, you can totally do that and make a very, 6-7 figure annual income as a self-published author. I've interviewed many of them on the Writers of the Future podcast.
Well, I watched that young lady from she was from Singapore. She wrote some kind of kitty thing and put it on TikTok. She was worth about $0- Now she's worth about 21 million.
Oh wow, good for me.
I was like, and so I just popped by because I hear stories like these from time to time. So I just popped by to see, and it was just a goofy little kitty book, and I think she was only selling it for like $4 or $5, but she had so many followers on TikTok that it just was selling all over the place. She sold an enormous amount of books. I was like, wow. I could never tell you what's going to go viral. And if I tell you something looks good or it's going to win, just don't even believe it. I never get it right.
Oh, no.
I'm wrong every year. Who's going to be the winner? I just nope. Don't listen to Josh. I'm like, no, that's the one. Apparently, I was wrong. So you've been enjoying. I mean, you're coming in. You're going to come hang out with all the crazies in LA.
Yes, God, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, because we're all crazy. Just so you know that ahead of time. Everybody is just. I got to tell you, the staff is fabulous. I mean, they really go out of their way to make sure you're comfortable there. It is amazing to me because, frankly, they're way nicer than I could ever be. I always tell John while I'm there, I'm just waiting for somebody to jump out of the closet, like one of Stephen King movies, just because they're just so nice. And they really truly go out of your way. I've been there. This is my 4th year going down there, and even still, last year I'm there. And every now and then, Joni would just come by and check him. Are you okay? Everything's I'm fine, Joni. I'm a big grown ass man. Don't worry about me. Go take care of what you need to. And
I believe you. Yeah, even through email, I feel like everyone has been really, really nice.
They are.
But unnecessarily so.
And the judges are fabulous in the fact that they like to be approached, they like to be talked to, they like to be asked questions. Apparently, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I think they like to be asked questions more than they like to teach the courses because they really like to be asked questions. And I've seen them. I mean, I've watched Tim Pound like Jody and I and Tim in some of the classes they're teaching. They'll get into questions, and I mean, there's just so much good information that comes out of these questions. It's hard to make people. It's making it hard to make people understand until they're actually sitting there, listening to them talk. But and I'm a non-author, I'm just media, and even I can understand how much y'all are learning while y'all are there. It's just great. It's a great thing.
What are you most looking forward to coming out here, Kyle?
First, the workshop. Second, I would really like to see a Denny's, if I can.
To see what?
A Denny's.
Okay. Yeah, we've got several around us.
Yes,
Oh,
they got good food too.
Joel will take you to Denny's so you can see what Denny's is.
Denny's got good breakfast. I mean, they got pretty good breakfast and they got pretty good hamburgers. It's
Yeah, there's a lot of good restaurants around. So
Chris, let's not even get into that In-N-Out burger stuff. Yeah, I always tell you, In-N-Out best burger in the country, but it's only in California. It can't be the best burger in the country if it's only in California. It's got to be in multiple states to be the best burger, man. I'm sorry.
There was In-N-Out in Colorado Springs when I went there last week.
Oh, is there? Well, you see that? That's a plus. That helps.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I have no idea what the best burger in the country is. I just like hamburgers. I don't know. They're bad for you. Bad.
Have you ever been to the United States before, Cal?
yes, I went to New York
Ooh.
5 years ago.
Yeah, so you went to
the beginning of the pandemic then?
No, this was a long time ago.
Oh.
Maybe more than 5 years. So 2017, maybe 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it just a visit, or was it also part of your work? Or
Yeah, I was in university at the time, so I signed on to do an extracurricular study trip,
yeah,
and that's
you
yeah,
got to go with
it
the
was
real
an
crazy.
anthology
great place
project.
to visit.
Yeah.
Yes, and run way fairly fast when you get a chance.
Yeah.
As Americans, we're not the most, we don't love New York the most. Like all I can tell you, but we love New York, but not like other states.
I've never
Not
been
like
anywhere quite like it.
it's just a well. I tell you what, L.A. is in a lot of ways it's like New York but warmer, right, to start
Yeah.
off with. It's a little prettier and it's a little warmer, and the ocean's right there if you want to see the ocean. I mean,
Yeah.
what is the ocean like? A couple of miles from Hollywood?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's a 30-minute drive.
Wow.
So it's right there. So it's I mean, everybody. And
From the roof of my building here on we're located right here on Hollywood Boulevard, right by the Chinese Theater. So we're a 5-story building, so I can look out on a clear day. I can see the shining of the ocean. The sun rippling off the ocean there. I can see sometimes the tankers in the harbor. So we're not that far away.
Yeah, I know. When I went and took a ride down, it was pretty close. Harold, no, LA is an interesting place, but it is. It's
Planning
the
becoming a novelist, Cal, are you planning on becoming a novelist?
Yes, I am.
good.
So-
I've been working on a couple of novels over the past couple of years, but I have so far had no takers.
Sure.
No, it's never easy to get started in anything new. It's
But when you come out here, you're going to meet a lot of people that, you'll find maybe there's certain judges you're going to find that you immediately, have a special attraction with, which is what happens with some of the winners. And if so, they'll also help you in the degree that you reach out to them. They're totally willing to help you with, getting that start. It's like they're there and they got their little bird in their hands. They go, fly. They want to help you.
no, they really. I've never heard it quite described, but they really are. They really are there to help. That's what they're there for, and everyone will tell you that's what they're there for. I've interviewed about half of them now, and they just want to help. They want. Oh, that's Wolf's book back there. I was like, what the hell am I seeing on my screen over there? I seen Howling Good Story up there is what that is. But they want to help you in any way they can, and they're willing to talk to you about anything. And don't be scared to ask them questions because they thrive in them damn questions.
Yeah, and when you're ready for your book to release, because I've done multiple now, helping to fund Kickstarters. I'll do the podcast because I've got the Rise to Feature podcast, and so that's over. I get an average of 2 million listens per episode. That's on Joe's network here, and so I've helped a lot of authors when they launch Kickstarters or launching a new release, winners, to help them get that start. And so I have a lot of fun with that. So when you're ready with one of these books, because you're going to be seeing people here too that can give you some direction on where to take your book on getting it published. So you'll get help with that. So you can talk with Dean Wesley Smith about self-publishing. You can talk with Robert J. Sawyer about traditional publishing, and then you've got other people who do both. And so you can get some good direction, help you decide what you want to do. And then when you're ready, because I've had a winner last year has a book called a story called Death and the Taxman. It was in volume 39.
That's it right there.
Yeah. And the novel's coming out. He wrote it. I did a podcast with him prior to his Kickstarter to help fund it. The book itself releases on Income Tax Day, coming up, in a month. And that's the official release of it. Really fun story, but it's just, we'll do that stuff to help get those careers launched. And so other people can see too, wow, you can make it, it's still possible from a person that starts off. They've been, they'll be able to heard you starting and then now being published, what's that journey's like.
So this was his winning story, right?
Yeah, Death and the Taxman. Yeah.
So and now he's turned it into a novel for sale.
Yeah. And that's the art that his illustrator.
That's yours.
Yeah.
That's the illustrator's artwork.
Sarah Morrison.
This story is funny as hell, by the way. But
it's a really good story.
It's but see, that's another thing. When you get a book, you let us know. You get hold of Carmen, myself, or John. We'll invite you on. See, his book's up there. That book may be up there for months. And everybody who watches this show or listens to this show will know that book is up there. So if you have like this gentleman right here, Non-Human, we have sold over 1,000 books for him now. because it's been just sitting right there, but it's been sitting up there for like 14 months. He's been on twice since this. So when he's on, we put it up like that. But when he's not, you see.
What story is that? Because your microphone's right in the way from the camera there. What's the book?
Wait, whose microphone's in the way? Oh, wait.
Yeah, I don't see what.
So there it is.
There we go. Yeah.
See, they're all back there.
Yeah.
So you see Wolf's book back there.
Yeah.
You see his book back there, and the non-humans.
Yeah, Wolfman was a winner about 3 years ago.
Yes, and then these are all right at the future winners. These are all my books. This is like Fear up here. I think it's the last copy. I got a Fear up there, but all of these belong to me because these are all signed copies from the thing. And when I get them signed, I also get the families to sign them. So they're very personal books. So they're very unique in the fact nobody else has got any like them.
Yeah.
So when you get, we'll get your signature in there and everybody in there. So, and whichever one it is, it's y'all do a lot of book signing while y'all there. I'll tell you that. That's a fun part of it though, and you get to see the artwork. Yes. I can't wait to see the artwork for your story.
Yeah. After the event, the book signing, and you're signing all the books for everybody coming up and asking you for your signature. That's you need to learn how to do your autograph signature different than your actual signing check signature. That's two different signatures. You don't want to have your business signature as your book, because then somebody can copy it.
I was gonna say I have to come up with an interesting looking autograph.
Yeah. It is true though. You really should have two different ones. just because unfortunately we live on a planet where people are not the most honest they should be.
Yes.
But I have faith. It's going to change. Or I'm moving with Elon to Mars, one or the other. So something's going to give you.
Are you going to be able to join us for the cover reveal on 1 March?
Yes, I will be there.
Okay, good.
Yeah. That's always a blast to watch the cover reveal. It's just that's like I said earlier, it's a very emotional time. It's a very fun time. I had said it before about tears, and somebody said, "Well, people are mad." I said, "No, it's tears of happiness." I mean, when you see that art, because it kind of, you won, and you got a great story, but when you see the cover art for your story, you're kind of like, "Wow, this is just now a real book now." Even though it's in this, it's still now a real book.
It starts getting real.
What's that?
I was just gonna say it starts getting real when you see physical. Evidence of what's going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I said, unfortunately for me, I have bought many books based on the cover. So some were very good, and some were like, "Where's the trash can at, man?"
I also do that.
Yes, but because some, one of the things I was talking with Dean about, and some of the other judges, is a really good cover can sell books, even bad ones. When people see certain covers, they're like, because I was going through a while back, I was looking through a bunch of L. Ron Hubbard's original artwork for a lot of his books that he had out. A lot of the artwork was great. I mean, it made you want to look, made you want to listen to the story or read the story once you've seen the artworort.
That's what good illustration does.
Yes, and that's what it's there for. So that's halfway. Once you got that, you're halfway there to making some money.
Have you read any of the L. Ron Hubbard stories at all, Cal?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, because I'll be sending around then, because they like to have something there. Because when he created this contest, he had already been one of the most popular writers of pulp fiction in America in the 30s and 40s. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the essays he wrote for writers back then, because he was the president of the New York chapter of the American Fiction Guild. So he wrote a lot of essays that were published in Writer's Digest and stuff like that on storytelling and how to write and how to come up with ideas and the business of writing. And those are used in the workshop. But one of the things I'll send around in this book, do you read dark fantasy at all, or is that not your? You do, okay, yeah. So I'll be sending around the book called Fear, which is considered the original on psychological thrillers. So that one is Stephen King and several others that specialize in that. So this is one of the really, really good ones. It's what started. So Robert Bloch, the guy that wrote, horror, he said, this is an awesome story. Anyway, so there's a lot like that. So he's sending it around so that people have an idea of what he wrote when you get in for the workshop type thing.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
So how do you do your writing? So you've got your job, because obviously you're not broadcasting from outside in the street. So obviously you're making money. So how do you working your writing right now? Because you said you got a couple books in the works.
Yeah, it's something I kind of do in my spare time. So I try. I'm self-employed, right? But I try to keep a 9 to 5, and then anything after 5, that's my writing time.
Oh,
Yeah, I
good.
need to be structured about it, otherwise I'm not going to get anything done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very true. I'm self-employed myself, so I understand that it's I make all my own schedules, and
Yeah.
you got to. Well, for the station part's easy because it's all pre-scheduled, so I know I got to be there at certain times. The other job's a little more difficult because it's construction, and you never know what the hell's going on. I mean, we make schedules and do things, but you never know what's going on. So,
Yeah, for me, it's easy because I'm a publisher. I only work half days, which is 12 hours.
yeah,
Oh.
I was going to say he's lying if he's telling you. Yeah, he literally means half days. It's funny when we're there because you'll see it's trying to catch any of the staff is because they're busy. Everybody's just zinging around all the time. Carmen, what do you mean? Are you Carmen or just a different Carmen? No, I mean, are you Carmen? Does book? Okay, you're somebody else. Never mind. No, actually, John and I some mornings we'll get together and have breakfast, and then I might not see him again until in the evening time sometimes, and then you never know who you're going to run into. But everybody's busy. I mean, everybody's helping somebody or involved in something, or in one of the classes or things like that. And yeah, it's
I don't know
just
how you guys keep your head
yeah.
down straight.
I don't personally. I don't even know how to do it.
Love
I
it
mean, they're
so
just
much. I'm
nonstop.
so looking forward to meeting you. You got such a beautiful smile. So okay, I got to see her in real life.
Thanks.
Just one of the things. But any place they can find you if they want to check you out. You got any websites up yet or not? Or you just getting there? Or?
I'm still getting there.
Yeah.
I will set up a Twitter at some point.
Well, I tell people all the time. People always get crazy with their websites, but sometimes Facebook is actually a little bit easier. Instagram in the beginning. Because you can show your material on Facebook, you can show everything you want and do on Facebook, and I always tell people the same thing. If you're going to show anything of yours on Facebook, always put a signature somewhere on it. That way, because Facebook always says, if you publish on their thing, they own it. Well, if you put a signature on it, they don't. So I have business accounts with them, so anything I publish doesn't matter anyway. They can't own it, but a lot of people have personal. See, but you can do that. You can open a business account. They allow you to open a business account just as well as a personal account. So you can open a business account. That's stuff you'll learn while you're at the place. But I mean, you can open up a business account that less likely to mess with you. You own everything that's on your page. And then you can tell people, hey, this is my address. If you just want to go see, a little piece of snippet of something I've written, or maybe the cover of the new book or anything like that, you can just send them there instead of killing yourself maintaining a website. I tell people all the time, you don't really need a website until you have, a bunch of stuff to show. Then you just need one so you can organize it and put it in one place. And then, of course, there's always Amazon has their own place to put all your stuff. So there's other ways. There's shortcuts. Yeah.
Thank you for the heads up.
Yeah. So I just like to tell people that because we're always storing stuff somewhere. We got to put something somewhere all the time. It's just we keep so many different things. But I can't wait to see you down there. We'll get a good interview while we're there. We'll talk more about who and what you are and how you got to where you are and, why you decided to pick to be an author.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a tough job. I mean, it's if you're good, like I said, you'd be Richie, stinky, filthy Richie, but, you may have to work to get there. What do you mean? Yeah, I got my question. Well, I want to see everybody become famous. Everybody I've met become famous because, I can say, oh, I met these people. When you're up there walking the red carpet, I say, oh, yeah, I seen her. Oh, yeah, I remember when she won Writers of the Future, man. Look at her now. Oh, no, so I love stuff like that. Well, I like to see people be successful. It's a tough world, so I want to see everybody can be successful. But I know we got to get out of here. I know it's wee hours for you. You might want to go back to bed for a little while and sleep. Me, I can't. Once I'm up, I'm done. I'm stuck up. But what's that, Jeremy? What question is that? No. We talked about the book. You'll have to wait until 40 comes out, and then you can buy the book and you can read the story.
You can pre-order the book right now on Amazon. It's up there now. You can pre-order Writers of the Future Volume 40.
You're not getting my copy. You can just, you know what? You're not getting my copy. This young lady is. I'm not going to tell you what I was going to tell you, but you can't have my copy. No. I get 2 copies. They're all autographed, and nobody's getting any of them. No. And matter of fact, I'm going to send 2 copies to Tom Wood just to have his signature in just because he's not there this year. Yes, I am. Because last year he didn't make it. Nobody could get his signature. And I went and got his signature anyway. No, people. I want them signatures in them books.
Go
Yes,
getter. I like that.
Yes. Yeah. Because it is great. And I got to tell you, you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot of stuff. You're going to probably be really tired, but you're going to learn a lot of stuff. And everybody there is really fabulous people. They'll go way out of their way to make sure you're taken care of.
Well, she's in training right now for being tired.
Yes.
Yes, because you're going to be tired. I'm not. It's one thing I tell all of them. I mean, be sure to ask questions because the judges really like to be asked questions. But they're going to work you. You're going to be tired, but you're going to learn a lot. Every time I go, I learn something different. So, and it's just one of those things that I don't think it's one of the things you can't ever really replace. You know, it's something. It's a once in a lifetime kind of thing, and you're going to actually get the benefit from them. And it may help you to take your career to that next level that you're looking to take it to. You're definitely going to get enough press to help you. That's for sure. But anyway, I know we got to get out of here. So I want to tell you, thank you for coming and hanging out with John and I. And I can't wait to see you in Los Angeles in a couple of weeks. And I hope I hope you win like an Oscar, girl. So just know I'm on your side. So
thank you. Fingers crossed.
Because I want to definitely. But again, go get you some rest, and we'll talk at you soon. And thanks again, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to wrap up out of here. I got to find out. We had a little missed thing with David Hankins was also supposed to be with us tonight, so I'll have to find out what was up with that. But I'll get him rescheduled ASAP, or Carmen, one or two of us. Well, either I will or Carmen will. We'll get him rescheduled and get him back on the show. Maybe we'll bring him on with some of the other winners, and he can talk with some of the other winners. He can come hang out with some of the other. Maybe I'll let him come co-host or something. Make up.
We can also get him on just because his book releases on tax day, which is what, April 14th.
Yeah, so it's close. No, it's a good book. That's the gentleman we're talking about right here who wrote this book right here, Death and the Taxman. That's the book we're talking about. He's actually the author of that book. Y'all can come check it out. John, you can catch on Writers of the Future. He's there right now. He's on Mondays. How long he's going to be on Mondays is anybody's best guess. But every week it's looking more and more like he's going to be permanently in front of this show. I really think by mid-April he'll be here instead of there. But we'll keep you informed. We'll keep you informed. You'll either hear it from this show or from news on the flip side. But we'll keep you up to speed on where the show is going to be exactly and how you can find it. Be sure to go check out the archives. If you miss a show, we're always archived. Everything's always archived. It's usually up within 48 hours. So if for some reason you don't see an archive that should be up, write to Michelle DeRoche. Just write to Michelle DeRoche and she will tell you where it's at, or she will contact me to find it, one or the other. Now, I'd tell you to write to me, but you're wasting your time. No.
Okay,
you're just wasting your time. John can get hold of me. There's a handful of people going to actually get hold to me. Everybody else needs to go through somebody else because it's just, my life is unbelievably busy right now. And then it's just easier that you go through one of the other people because they'll tell me what you need and then we'll schedule some time to get together. No, John has my personal cell phone number. That's why he can get me. See this one right here? This one, he can call me on this. I always tell him, don't page me, call me.
Yeah.
Damn text. I don't pay no attention to text. We got to go.
I got another caller just coming in now.
Go on, get out of here.
Thank you very much, Joe. And we'll be in touch.
No problem. I'll talk to you soon, boss.
Okay, bye.
Guys and girls, we're getting out of here. I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Arthur's Quill. I hope y'all enjoyed it immensely. It's always a lot of fun. Coming up next is The Gray Zone with Joe Montaldo and Michelle DeRoche as they talk about the weird things around the world. Anyway, on that note, I will see y'all on my next show is on Wednesday. So I will see y'all then. Enjoy your weekend. Have some fun. Give somebody a kiss. Good night, everybody.